Hello, it's Lisa. Welcome back to video tutorial number 7. We're getting through these videos. Our next line is round 3, and that is double crochet increase. And as that instruction is in brackets, we're going to repeat it 6 times. So it's going to be double crochet increase, and continue like that 6 times. So let's get started. Now you can also see from the pattern at the end of the last round we finished with 12 stitches, and at the end of round 3 we're going to finish with 18. Let's get started. So, and our first stitch is a double crochet, and all that means is we're just going to be doing 1 crochet into that stitch. So there's our marker, and there's our first stitch, because if we lift like so, you can see that's lifting up. So that's already been worked. So the next one we're working is here, and you can see it's a nice clear V. That's our next stitch. So double crochet, we're simply going to go under both sides of the V as usual, grab our wool and pull it through, and then over the top and pull it through both loops, and that is a single double crochet stitch. So our instruction, the next stitch is an increase, so we're going to go into the next nice clearly defined V twice. If you remember from our last video, an increase is simply doing 2 stitches in one. So we've done a double crochet and an increase. So then we're repeating that same instruction 6 times all the way around. So our next one is a double crochet, so simply under and over, and then the next one is an increase, so back in there, and we're doing 2 in that stitch, so back in twice. So if you can see what I'm doing going back in it, you can see that's got the little line where we've gone in already, and you can see just a little bit of the V, because part of it's covered there because we've already gone in it. So we're just aiming to go right back into that same stitch. This is a little bit difficult to get your head around to start with, and it is quite easy to end up with too many or too few, but you will get there. If in doubt, count backwards. So we've now done a double crochet, that was our increase up to stitch 3, a double crochet, and that was an increase. As you can see, there's 2 stitches. So now we're up to another double crochet, and then another increase. So we've now repeated the instruction 3 times, and if you remember from the pattern, it's 6 times that we're going to do it. So we should have 6 stitches left. So if we're not sure which is our next one, we can count them back. So we'll count this one because it's the last stitch of the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can see that's our next stitch to work. So a single double crochet in there, and then an increase, and then a single double crochet, and then an increase. See, I'm just holding that through my fingers still, just letting it run through, keeping it quite taut, but letting it run through as I need to pull the wool. And then the last one, we're going to do an increase in here, which is our last stitch. And then, of course, with us learning, we're going to move the marker, and then we're going to count the stitches. Don't start thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to leave it out, I know what I'm doing now, because it will all go wrong. I've done it so many times. I still do it now. Even when I think, oh, I'll know where I'm up to, and then someone walks in the room and says something, and I've completely forgot where I'm up to and how many. That's just dropped out, but it doesn't matter. We'll pop that in. So that's in the last stitch, and that is just our working loop that our hook's just managed to fall out of. So I'm going to pop that in there, pop it back in. So don't worry if that pops out, we can just soon put it back in. And we finished that round, so we're just going to count them to make sure they're correct. So we'll start with the one with our marker in, just check we've got 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And that's not stitch. That is the last one from the last round. We've already worked that, but you can see that line above it there. So we have 18 stitches, which is correct. We're just going to look at the next line of the pattern now and see what's next. Now the way this is abbreviated is lines 4 to 10. Now we could write out line 4, line 5, line 6, line 7, line 8, line 9, line 10, but it would just take up a lot of room, and it's not how normal patterns are written. So the idea is, obviously we're writing this exactly how a normal pattern would be written so that you're used to those instructions. So lines 4 to 10 are all going to be exactly the same, and you can see it says double crochet 18 stitches. Now sometimes that would just say double crochet, and what that means is you're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So we're not increasing or anything else, so for each double crochet we're just going to do 1 double crochet in that stitch. And now I've also written times 7 rounds. That's just simply so you can count your 7, and if you want to make write the numbers down, write one down each time you do it, then you can do that quite easily. It's just to save you trying to work out how many it is. So we're going to do it for 7 rounds. So I'll start you off with the first one, and then I am actually going to leave you to do the rest on your own. How exciting! It's because you're getting used to how it all works, and you should be able to do that. So we're going to do line 4. So it's 1 double crochet in each. So we're going to go under there, grab and pull it through. 1 stitch in the next one. So this is the simplest ball work. This is nice and easy part. So 1 stitch in each. So that means our crochet isn't growing wider. It's just going to start growing up now. So as we work the same, it'll go upwards, and we're going to get our leg shape. So 1 double crochet in each, and just go all the way around. I would certainly use a pen and paper or something just to write down your round, so that each time you move the marker at the end of the round, write a 1 down so you can count your 7 rounds. In the next tutorial I will show you how to count them, just in case you've lost track. And there is quite a simple way to actually count the rounds so you can tell where you're up to. So we're just doing 1 in each. Oops. I tend to move the work around as I'm doing it. So we're nearly at the end now. So we've just got 3 left. So 1, 2, 3. It's quite handy if you can count them as you work. So we'd go on to 18, and then we know that we're on 18. And again, count backwards if you're not sure where you're up to. So we've done 1 double crochet in each stitch. So now I'm going to move my marker. So I'll get a pen and a paper, and I'll just write down 1. And then what I'm going to leave you to do now, is to keep going, and you're going to do the same as the last round another 6 times. So you're going to go 1 stitch in each all the way around. That'll be 2. 1 stitch in each all the way around. That'll be 3. Keep going like that until you've done 7 rounds of 1 stitch in each. And to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to show you what that looks like. This is what you're going to be left with, like so. So you can see that's underneath the foot, and that's the little leg all done. So this is the magic circle. This is where we were increasing as it's growing, and then those last 7 rounds you can see we're just going straight up to form our little leg. And this crochet is the correct way around. There is also inside out, which is like that. The little strand normally ends up on the inside. You can trim that as you start going, but never trim it really close to the top, because it can unravel and you could end up with a little hole in your foot, which we don't want. So that's the end, and you can see the inside looks more like diagonal lines across. That's the inside of your work. And the outside, which is the correct way around, this is going to be the bit we see on the bunny, looks more like horizontal lines, and it looks far more defined and clearer stitches. But in the next tutorial I will show you a leg inside out and one right way round so that you can compare them. So if you continue with the next round, so another 6 rounds to get us up to the same as that leg. And then when you finish that, I'll show you what to do next in the next tutorial.